This is the next video. I'm sure you're super excited about that, about other algebra strategies. Okay, so what I'm wanting to do here is I'm hoping you will have a basic understanding of inequalities, matrices, and imaginary numbers. I'm just doing something very, very basic, nothing super spectacular. And excuse the handwriting, but I seem to have cracked my iPad, and I think my styluses are not working with that small bit of a crack. And that's just super annoying. But I do apologize. It's not like that my handwriting was all that neat in the first place, but let's go with that. Anyways, so let's start off with inequalities. And what you need to remember with inequalities, you got to remember greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, less than or greater than. You need to remember this stuff. Remember, with the ACT, it's about remembering it. So you got to know these type of things. Also, let's remember that when open dots do not include the number and a closed circle does include the number. So like if I say here less than 1, I am saying every number that is less than 1, but I'm not including 1. I needed a starting point. So I could be saying 0.9 or 0.99 or 0.999 or 0.99999999999. Kind of get the point? The other one with a closed dot does include the 1. So I am starting at 1 and including it. But on the top version, I am starting at 1 but not including it. Okay, so let's look at a problem here. I want you to see something here also. Okay, can you identify this inequality? Okay, this is what is known as a compound inequality. Okay, so when you, and here, I would tell you this. If you see it, like let's say, they go into opposite directions, remember there should be an or in between. If they go away, it's an or. If they are between, it's an and. And that might help you with answer choices. So, that could save yourself a little bit of time, or at the very worst, get you down to less answer choices so you could hopefully have a chance when you guess. Okay? So in this case, I'm going to say, okay, look, x is, let's see here, less than, well, I'm starting with the one on the left, less than, equal to, negative 2. And then also x is greater than 2. But at the same time, again, these are split apart. So the key word, the very important thing to put in between there is or. Okay? When they're split apart, it's or. If they were in between each other, it would be an and. Now, I did look, and I want y'all to remember this. With absolute value and inequalities, you got greater or less than. Okay, very important about this because I was looking at the old ACT questions and this did appear. So the absolute value of x plus 3 means I'm going to put greater. So I'm going to say x is greater than 3 or x is less than negative 3. I should have a negative 3 and it'll appear there in a second. I just forgot it for a second. But negative 3. Okay. And notice I've got open dots for both, and they're going in opposite directions. Whereas if I do less than, okay, so here I've got x is less than or equal to 2. So now I'm going to say x is less than or equal to 2 and greater than or equal to negative 2, which would be something like this. Look, if you did this graph, you'd be going this way for the negative 2, you'd be going the other way for the positive 2. But with and, you only care about being in between. Where do they cross over? Which is right there in the middle. So that's all you care about. So keep in mind, and will kind of keep the shades in between, where ors usually will go across, outside. I mean, there's always exceptions to the rule, but again, this is an ACT test. I don't think they would worry about exceptions to the rule because they're trying to see what y'all remember, not how can we trick you. All right, so now let's look at matrices. So I'm ready to cover matrices. Woo! Okay, remember, matrices are an organization of rows and columns. I've checked everything I've seen, and I've only been seeing, like, say, one row or one column. So they're not making these big matrices. Okay, so like in this example, 3, 5, 8 going across is a 1 by 3 matrix because I have one row, but three columns. Here I have 3 rows, but 1 column. Okay, so there's different ways I can organize that. And I'm going to show you how you can do this on without a calculator. In class, if you'd like me to show you how to do this with the calculator, I can show you. The Inspire makes matrices like one of the easiest things to work with. So honestly, it's very simple. All right, so keep in mind if you're doing addition or subtraction, as long as the dimensions are the same, you just copy across. But the dimensions have to be the same. So like I said, 8 minus 4, 7 minus 9, and 3 minus... Wow. Hold a second here. Okay, so apparently I don't know how to say subtract 3 minus 1. So, well, let me go ahead and erase that. You know, that's what I get for like kind of being a stupid little goober. And change that to a 2. Okay, so that's supposed to be a 2. Well, now I messed up the negative 2, so let's do that. There we go. This is not working out well. So anyways, okay, well, you get the idea. So keep in mind the dimensions must be the same. Now, when you multiply, you have to have the outer dimensions the same. So like a 1 by 3 times a 3 by 1, that will tell me what I would be. The inner ones have to be the same, but the outer ones will tell me what it's going to be. So it's going to be a 1 by 1. Again, see if you can figure out how I got that, but keep in mind like all this, for this one it was 2 times negative 1, 2 times negative 1 plus 1 times 4 plus 3 times 5 to get that 17. Okay, but notice that I can take these same matrices and switch them, and I'm going to get a different answer. Okay, so negative 1, 4, 5, 2, 1, 3. Here I've got a 3 by 1 times a 1 by 3, which means I get a 3 by 3 matrix. Okay, and notice here, all I'm saying is negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. Negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. Negative 1 times 3 is negative 3. And you kind of keep doing that, and you would get all the answers for every single thing, and that's really about it. Now, I can, again, show you how this would work on the calculator. It's not really that difficult. If you have one of the other calculators, I can kind of show you how they would work. There might be a quicker way to do it than what I know, but you know, that's why I really don't like the 84s and 83s. But you know, just ask and I will do my best to show you. Okay? Alright, imaginary numbers. Okay, remember, I is negative, or I is just square root of negative 1. Okay, I squared is negative 1, I cubed is negative I, and I to the 4th power, or I to the 0 power, is 1. Okay, so it kind of goes in a recycling formation like that. So if I wanted to say, okay, what would I to the 33rd power be equivalent to? Well, then divide the 33 by 4 and look at the remainder. The remainder is 1. So then that means I to the 33rd power is the same as I to the 1st power, which is I, or the square root of negative 1. Okay, so that's it. That's all it is. So kind of keep that in mind. Now, here's something else. And I'm going to stop right there. If you see, and I found this in like one of the old tests. If you see a number like this, and they'll say something about how I squared is I to the negative, or I squared is equal to negative 1, and tell you some other stuff. The point here is this: you cannot leave a imaginary number in the fraction, or in the denominator. So you have to multiply by its what's called conjugate, its opposite. And the problem I was looking at actually gave me all of that right there, what you see right there. Okay, and then you need to multiply. Now here's something simple. Notice again, this is not done to where it, like as hard as it would be, say, in algebra 2. Okay, 1 times anything is that thing. So 1 times 1 minus I is 1 minus I. You know that. Okay, so maybe you look for that on the test, and maybe there's only one answer choice that has it. Happy, happy, joy, joy. Now, the other part is, because those are opposites, all you got to do is do the first times the first, last times the last. So 1 times 1 is 1. I times negative I is negative I squared. And I squared is negative 1. So that's negative 1 minus a negative 1, which is 2. And you're done. That's it. And that should be fairly simple. But, you know, just try. I will tell you this. There is a way to get the I in the calculator. And so I just did that right now. It's off the pi button. And so you could type that in there. And you should be able to type in like this bit right here. And you get, the calculator will tell you this, 1/2 minus 1/2 I. Well, guess what? That's the 1/2. There's a 1 here, so that's 1/2 I also. So this is the same as that, so it's just a matter of being able to make sure you can read it correctly. And then if you do, like say, this I to the 33rd power, I typed it into the calculator and I got I. So again, here's how the Inspire is a very powerful piece of technology that you could use that could help you. I don't know if y'all I might think about seeing if I can check things out to y'all. We'll see. Okay. Anyways, that's it for today. If you do have any questions, you know, just let me know, and you know, we'll work on an assignment in class hopefully tomorrow, so that way I can answer all your questions tomorrow in class. Thank you very much.